What's going on, guys? This is Evan, the Xenia Gears enthusiast here, bringing you a really long gameplay commentary here. This is not recorded live. I had originally intended to do this live, and honestly I think the end result probably would have been better live, but that couldn't happen due to technical difficulties and my splitters not working the way I'd like them to. Anyway, this is going to be like an hour-long commentary, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to monologue that long, but I'm sure going to try. This is the first time I've ever attempted a commentary this long without interruption. I kind of intend to do this all in one sitting as of right now, starting it. So let's see what happens. This is me walking through one of the harder areas in Dark Souls. The difficulty is only in the fact that the stage is completely annoying and hard to get around. It's not necessarily like difficult, other than the fact there's a lot of negative status effects. And I'll try to walk you through the things to be worried about. For those of you that are wondering, I'm using a +10 Z-Wander, not to pronounce it, but it's a big 24 strength enormous sword that I'm one-handing because this is a character build for the Great Sword of Artorias I kind of put together. I realize it's not going to be an optimal character build, but I like it, so it's what it is. Coming into BlightTown, there's a couple things to know. Those big giant guys, they're really easy. They look intimidating, but they're actually complete pushovers. The way to fight them effectively is... I'm a little behind. I should... Never mind. Sorry. The way to fight those big guys really is just to lock on, hold your shield up, or if you don't have a shield, then just kind of circle strafe around them, bait them into a bad attack, get behind them, then get the backstab on them. That's the easiest way. You can parry too. You can parry the Great Club swings for a lot of damage. The worst thing you can probably do is just to hack away at them. Like, you can get away with it because they're so slow, but you might open yourself to being one-shotted by the giant rock because they can smash it down on your head. So just... I didn't know those guys could drop a spear. So just don't do that. This is going to walk you through how to get, I believe, every item in BlightTown. I've been through BlightTown maybe 15 times at this point, and this is everything in BlightTown I know of. I'm showcasing you the correct item build. That is a Shadow Shield to block status effects. The Shadow Shield allows you to block like poison dart arrows and things like that, which are very common here and very problematic. These guys right here, their arrows, see, look, that's from one arrow. That's a huge amount of toxicity, and I'm wearing all black leather at the moment, which I'll upgrade here, which are my find in BlightTown. But when you're coming into BlightTown, the #1 rule is to equip everything. Just go through every item you have and look for the highest poison resistance and put it all on. Get the Poison Bite Ring. You buy the Poison Bite Ring in the Undead Parish at the top where you're riding the first Bell of Awakening, where you fought the gargoyles. Oswald sells it. It adds a tremendous amount of poison defense, which just makes BlightTown a heck of a lot easier to get around. And I'm swinging my enormous two-handed axe, not aiming very well, and depleting all my stamina. This character doesn't have adequate endurance right now. I kind of skilled up incorrectly. I should have dumped more into endurance early, but I winded up putting points in other areas. Like, I put a lot of points early on into Faith because I wanted to be able to cast Homeward, which is the miracle that teleports you back to the last bonfire rested at. You'll see me use it this playthrough, and it's really nifty. It's if you're not PvPing, because if you're playing player versus player, you're probably trying to stay between 120 and 130 for common, like, so-called honorable duels. But if you're PvE, it's almost worth going up to like 18 Faith just for the sake of getting Homeward, which whenever you cast, it takes you right back to the last bonfire you rested at, and that's a tremendous ability. I'm not going to narrate the path through BlightTown because I think that's what the visual element of the video is for. I'll elaborate on parts that I feel as though are important to speak about as to why I'm doing it a particular way. Like most areas in Dark Souls, the thing that will get you killed down here the most is if you pull too many enemies. Like around here, there is a ton of these little deranged villager guys. They're not... Most of their stuff you can block. They do a lot of jumping attacks and a lot of charging swings. So really blocking is the safest bet, or taking them out from long range with a high hit weapon like I'm doing. Yeah, there is armor ahead up there. The thing you gotta watch out for is if you're trailing behind a shield, they can do a diving attack that may instant kill you if you're like me and you didn't stack vitality enough. See, I just put myself in a really bad spot there because I'm not blocking, I'm trying to one-shot, I'm trying to get used to this sword. This is not a good place to train your weapon skills, so I'm not leading by example there. Play it safe then in BlightTown, because you don't want to die and get sent back to a bonfire. You want to get through this place as fast as you can. This video might not look that bad, when I watch videos of BlightTown before the game came out in the USA, I didn't think it looked that bad, but it really is. For Demon Souls veterans, it's as bad as Valley of Defilement. Okay, you see, The reason we went this way first is to get the Shadow set. The Shadow set has a tremendous amount of poison resist. Second, at this point in the game, second only to Pyromancer set, which you actually find in BlightTown later. So if you started as a Pyromancer, your starting set's perfect, but if not, you gotta use other stuff. This dead ends here, it drops and kills you. It looks like a shortcut, but it's not. At least every time I've tried to use it, you just die when you roll off, so don't go that way. The general rule of BlightTown isn't... Getting through BlightTown isn't hard, because progression involves constantly going down. Like, as long as you're moving down, that's good, because there's actually a giant swamp at the bottom of all these wooden catwalks. That's where you want to be, is at the bottom of the swamp. So as long as you're heading down, you're doing it right. I wouldn't take too many jumps. There's always a ladder you can take. So don't jump unless you think you found a shortcut. See, I hear there's screeches right now, and I'm a little bit concerned. When I commentate, I can't actually hear the audio from the game because the program I use kind of sucks. For those of you who think I get into commentating, don't use Coral Video Studios. I'm not trying to dog on it, but it sucks. Like, if you really like it, let me know, because I just don't like it at all, and it seems like it's unsupported by the developers. And the only way I get support on my video editing software would be if I upgraded to another version. At least they say I get more support then, but then I just run the gamble of getting another cheap half-arse program, so don't do that. If you're going to do this, either just use something that's freeware, because freeware is just as good as this program, or outright go and get yourself Adobe, like a personal version of Adobe that's like kind of decent. Also, what did you guys think of the intro video at the start of this? My buddy Flesh Mechanic made it for me. He put that together. May not be the most technical intro on YouTube, but I really like it. I'd like to do a little shout out to Flesh Mechanic. He'll be starting his own YouTube channel too, so I know I have a limited audience. He'll probably get a bigger audience than I have, but you know, hopefully he and I can share an audience so we can both get bigger, and maybe just have a good time together. I don't think he's trying to make any money off it, which I'm definitely not. And shout outs to some of you guys who sent me messages. It's really encouraging since I have such a small number of viewers, hearing from people that say, you know, they enjoy my commentary, they enjoy what I'm doing, and they like the fact I'm not like making bank off of this. You know, a lot of you guys seem to appreciate that. You know, thank you. I really, you know, when you're not making money off this, I'd be lying to say it's a pain because I enjoy it, but it can be hard to find the inspiration if you're not getting a lot of viewers to encourage you. Ooh, I almost got back attack there. And it'd be hard to keep going when you're not getting paid, of course. But, you know, that's where we are. See, now I'm actually blocking correctly. A great strategy is to block, circle straight behind, and stab. They're basically an upgraded version of the regular zombie. Just watch out for the dive attack, because it has a lot more range than you think it does. And also watch out for the grab, like I said, which is another jumping forward attack. They don't have a whole lot of arc, they just go forward. So we come down this side. Well, so let's just reach the bonfire. This is a big help, of course. I'm going to light it. I'm always hesitant because I've done BlightTown so many times. I can usually get through without hitting this bonfire, but I went ahead and decided to get it because it really helps in getting the Lito or Lito or however you're pronounced. It's the short sword I'm about to get here in a little bit, and I'll point it out when I get it. It's really dangerous to get it. I'm used to it, but dying in an attempt to retrieve it is pretty common. This is one of those things that you do not want to slide down this ladder. There's a huge mob. I think there's like 3 enemies down there, and they'll all, if you go down there quick, they will all instantly like spawn on you. Ow. He kind of nicked my foot there because the game kept forcing me onto the ladder. Gotta back up sometimes to draw him upstairs. Missed my swing because I didn't lock on at the right time. Smash. Instant kill. For those of you who are wondering, this weapon is fun to use, but you have to have a lot of strength to wield it, like all the big heavy two-handers. If you're not familiar with where it is or how to get it, you actually get the sword in the skeleton graveyard outside of the first Bonfire Firelink Shrine. It's really easy to come across, so just go over there. You'll have to fight through some giant skeletons or suicide run to grab it. Either's viable. So once you get a hold of that, you can pump strength and wield it. Then you can upgrade it all the way to +10 before the Gaping Dragon fight by acquiring the large ember in the depths and farming shards off the slimes in the depths. That's the easiest way to do it. Just figured I'd share that with you since we've got plenty of time to talk in a 1-hour commentary. We're about 9 minutes 30 seconds in. So plenty of time to talk about lots of different things. Here's a quick... Oh, now this is annoying. This item here, just when you're trying to do these like really precision walking, because it will instant kill you, and the game is merciless because it's Dark Souls. Yeah, that's a lot of work to get something so useless, or not useless. They're actually really nifty down here. When you come down into BlightTown, you should hotkey the item that removes poison. Doesn't reduce it, you want to remove it. That's like blooming purple moss. Equip that. Equip your Estus flask, of course, and equip Homeward Bone. For those of you that aren't familiar with Homeward Bone, this is one of those rickety bridges. I'll digress to talk about this quickly. When you walk across these long bridges like this, they sway in the wind, or they just sway, and sometimes they'll sway in a manner that makes you fall off. So don't overcorrect. Yours, if you just stay perfectly still, you won't fall off. But if it looks like you're going to fall off, there's a chance you may. In which case, you just want to walk in the direction the bridge is shifting, and you'll be okay. I didn't bring any water for this commentary. I probably should have. My voice is going to get sore. Gonna get scratchy throat. Sprint across the last bit there safely. This is a frustrating item because, if I recall, yeah, this is a humanity down here, and it just dead ends. Like, you get a humanity and nothing else, and you work really hard to get it. Like, you're more than likely to die trying to get it if you don't know what you're doing. So, while humanity is a really valuable resource, don't be afraid to just ignore it. I had a lot of trouble with those puppies. They're similar to like the regular attack dogs you fought in areas prior to this, like in the Copper Demon area. I think it's Copra, yeah, Copra Demon area, or they're kind of similar to the giant rats in that they attack fast and they ricochet off your shield. They can still attack again quickly. And if you're like me and you're using a big weapon with a long swing, like it's really dangerous because they have a fire breath thing. So if your shield sucks against fire, which my poison shield does, that sucks. So watch out for that, and just watch out for them to just like hit you again and again and again. Like, it's really hard to sneak attacks in unless you have like a short sword or something really fast. Better to get them at range, but they can do like quick sidestep jumps around it. Now this is interesting here. I'm trying to warp back to the bonfire so I don't have to cross back across the bridge. And you'll notice that, you know, I can't use Homeward to get to the bonfire, and I can't use Homeward Bone. This is a great trick for you guys that are actually playing in human form, which I know most of the community doesn't. But if you're rocking human form, keep Homeward Bone open on your quick items. Because if it turns black or grayed out, you know, like an unusable item, you're being invaded. Because when you're invaded, the bonfires deactivate. And you have to slay the phantom before you can use that stuff again. Or disconnect. You can always start, save, quit, and that gets you out of it. This is going to be a failed invasion. Spoiler. He's never actually going to succeed in invading because this game has like wonky, crappy, like segmented populations, servers, peer-to-peer. So it's really lousy. This game is really poorly localized by Namco, but you know what can you do? It is what it is, and I can't read Japanese, so here I am. That's a great trick, though. Always, if you're in human form, there's always a chance you'll be invaded. Always. And normally the people that invade in this game, frankly, have no manners. They might fight honorably, but you're always going to run into that guy who spams Wrath of Gods, and you know you might be soul level 30, and he'll be rocking like fully upgraded armor with like +5 lightning Lito and +5 fire longsword. If you're not familiar with those, there's like common twink items. Twink, I believe, is a WoW and MMO term for a character that's grossly overgeared for his level. Most of the people that invade you will be unfairly leveled, and it's going to suck. Right now I'm going to get a little lost. I'm trying to backtrack back to the entrance to BlightTown, and I'll talk more about that once I get there. This might not be the most efficient way, but you should definitely get on the bonfire first, the safe way, because the item I'm going to try to get actually endangers your life in the process of trying to get it, so it's better to have that bonfire there as a quick respawn. The item is worth dying for, so you know, it's worth the risk, so don't ignore it. Definitely try to get it. I'll talk about the patch notes on this game a little bit. I'm not an expert on it. I don't even have them all memorized, but there were a couple big ones that are stuck in my mind that I want to share with the community. For those of you that don't follow this game as heavily as I do, there is a tremendous imbalance in the way they did the weapons and the weapon stats. And this is a bigger issue for some than others, because you can play however you want since this is mostly a player versus engine game with a sprinkle of the PvP. The PvP community, which I am not a part of, but I do like to participate in invasions and being invaded. I just don't do any kind of organized regular play, nor do I twink. I just invade as a natural character progression, and usually I lose, but that's okay, you know? I mean, I think people would probably appreciate the fact that being invaded by someone who hasn't invaded with completely overpowered characters to just roll them. You know, I'm not trying to get people butthurt. Dark Souls is hard enough, so I don't want to make it worse by, like, ruining the limited online aspects by just plowing people out of spawn. Or not out of spawn, playing too much Modern Warfare 3. Which, by the way, I haven't put any new Modern Warfare 3 videos up because the game is driving me insane, and I don't want to put a video up where I didn't even like the match. I gotta commentate matches I liked. This is a Dark Souls commentary. You guys probably could care less about my Modern Warfare 3. But I commentate mostly Call of Duty in addition to this game, and got an Armored Core for Answer playlist series I need to finish uploading. Odds ends. Just patch notes. The patch notes in this game, the imbalance was in... for those who don't know how the weapons work, weapons scale to a stat, and you can view those in the stats. I'm not going to go on at length about how that works. You can go on the Dark Souls wiki and get everything you need, including each weapon's stats. But they rebalanced it in that like things scaled to stats unless they're elemental, like fire weapon, lightning weapon. Those don't scale to stats, those just get a base addition. And the problem was, unless you completely overburdened your character with like 99 of like a particular stat, like pretty much like if you had a divine weapon which fails to intelligence, you had to have probably 60 or so intelligence before it outdamaged a well-made lightning or fire weapon. And that was just really poor balancing, and the community didn't appreciate it, particularly the player versus player community. Now that item down there is the risky one, so I'm going to put my patch notes discussion on hold to talk about getting this really quick. This is one of like the top 3 best short swords in the game, so you just want to line it up, get comfortable with the kind of run you're doing, take your time. Nothing here is going to attack you if you already cleared the area, which you should have. You've hit the bonfire, so if you die, everything's going to be okay. Then you just want to run right at the little stick, jump at the last second, and you might land on that pillar or you might not. Either way, as long as you land on the platform, the fall's not going to kill you, and you can get that fantastic item, which looks incredibly sexy, handles well too. It's a fantastic weapon, one of the most commonly used weapons. It's a low strength weapon though, and I'm a high strength character, so there's no sense in switching to a low strength weapon now that I've already invested the stats. Now that that's out of the way, I want to, well, I should probably talk a little bit more about this part up ahead. There is a blow dart archer, the guys that we saw earlier that inflict a tremendous amount of poison up on the platform, chilling up there. You cannot get up to him right away, and he can be incredibly difficult to arrow down without him arrowing you first. And unless you're an archer with a decent amount of dex or with a good bow, you probably aren't going to be able to damage him before he poisons you. So the way to do this is to walk forward and fight the enemies one at a time, and block those arrows if you need to, because if you have a spider shield, which you find in the depths, if you don't have a spider shield, go back to the depths and get it. It's in the room with a giant rat on the upper catwalk, which you reach by dropping down a hole near the start of the depths. Plenty of videos up on YouTube how to find it. I won't be posting one. But you can find it, just look around, it's in the giant rat area. You drop down from where you get the large ember. I can't be any more specific than that. And you need a spider shield to free block those negative status effects. Or if you're on New Game Plus, you shouldn't be watching, or you really probably need a walkthrough. I don't want to say you shouldn't be watching this, maybe you find me that entertaining. But if not, New Game Plus, you might have Great Shield of Artorias with enough strength to wield it. That big thing, it gives you pretty much immunity to negative stats, so it's a fantastic shield if you have 31 strength to carry it and you don't mind rolling slow because of having like a fatty roll because the shield's so heavy. It's endurance is sort of a frustrating stat in this game, because for those of you that don't know, endurance is the stat that determines how you roll. So if you have less than half endurance, you have like a slow speed roll like I have right now. You just roll. If you have like if you're over half, then you get like a really, if you're under half, you get the roll I have now. It's just like a medium roll. Slow roll is pretty much unusable, and it just makes you have like a squared off roll. It's only good for getting under attacks. It's pretty much terrible, and you should probably never put your weight there. And then the other version of this is the quick roll, which is less than 1/4 your equip weight. Raised endurance raises your equip weight. It also raises your stamina. Endurance is one of the most beneficial stats in Dark Souls. But you should typically stop at 40 unless you're doing something very specific. Here's how you get to one of these blow dart archer guys. It's unless you're doing like a very, very specific build, don't go above 40 endurance, because it raises your equip burden still, but that's where it stops giving you additional stamina. Without the additional stamina, it's typically not worth it, because there are rings that let you compensate for weight, like Havel Shield. Okay, this here, back here, this is the Eagle Shield. This is probably the best. This is probably the best shield in the game right now, and that's of course a matter of opinion. And this is a great way for me to segue back into a discussion about the patch notes. The patch notes rebalanced it so weapons that had like stat scaling were better instead of just raw elemental damage, because as it was, even if you pumped a stat, like let's say you had 40 intelligence and a weapon that gave A rank modifier, because it's like S is the best, D or E is the worst, and you get plus damage based on the stat based on that number. You can read that right on the item menu or on the wiki. Point is, I think the best you get would be like usually B or an A on weapons at the time, and it just didn't plus enough. Like the raw output from Elemental was better, which furthermore complicated it because you didn't have to stack a stat, so you could stack your vitality. So it lets you make characters that had a tremendous amount of vitality, while at the same time, had access to more damage than the scaled weapons. So it sucked, and it was poor design choice. It didn't ruin the game, but it's just an oversight on software's part, and they fixed it. On the new patch, they've rebalanced it, so while elemental weapons are still really good and probably the most versatile choice, if you want to like min-max your damage, then absolutely stat pumping is far more viable now than it used to be, while still the harder route to take. With that said, a couple other things in the patch notes. They rebalanced the shields. For those of you that didn't know before, the medium shields were vastly superior to the great shields because you could parry, and parrying is a tremendous ability to have. It's hard to give up. But not only that, but the medium shields just had so much defense. Like, they really did have a tremendous amount of defense. Stability, rather. And stability on your shield is the stat that determines how much you can block. So the stability was really, really high on some of the medium shields, which made it hard to justify. Oh, wow. Sorry about all that lag there on the video and on the gameplay. Don't know what happened there on the recording. We'll just have to deal with it. I just know I can backtrack and fix that. So we'll just carry on. Clearly I killed the hedge troll and the little zombie guy. Ooh. Bothers me. I'm going to quickly pause this commentary, stop and save the project file. That way, if this drops, I won't be completely screwed. Okay, guys, I'm back. Right in time to show you how to get the whip. Just walk into this area, drop straight down. You don't have to roll, you don't have to jump. Just literally walk off, you'll land right on it, no problems. Now you can drop down to the platforms below in any manner of ways. This is the way I like to do it because I'm comfortable walking across the little plank, but you don't have to drop off this way. I know it's a bad place to drop off the commentary for a quick project save, but that little skip in the video worried me. There's trouble in BlightTown. The frame rate drops really bad in BlightTown. I don't know. It's probably the way they did the processing. They try to process too much of a view distance, I assume. I'm not really sure, but it sucks, and the frame rate issues can randomly get you killed because your game may drop to like 10 frames per second, in which case it's really hard to stay on top of what you're doing. But that can't be helped. That's just where we are. And of course, if you had not dropped to the whip and climbed the ladders, that's where this door will take you. It's just back to that long tunnel I was in, across the fog door on the wrong side. A little FYI, black phantoms to invade you can't pass through those, so they could be a nice natural barrier to stop invading forces from reaching you. So, time to try to finish my discussion of the patch notes. As I was saying with shields, they rebalanced the shields so that upgraded medium shields have far less stability than they used to have. Like an old upgraded Hollow Soldier shield, which you get in the first area, Undead Berg, if it drops, which you can farm in 30 minutes, had 88 stability, fully upgraded, and required like 12 strength or less, maybe 10 strength, I don't know. Point is, it's just so much, because Great Shield of Artorias, the highest stability shield, and extremely heavy. It takes like 31 strength and a ton of item encumbrance. I don't think it had much more than 80. I think it I can't remember the exact stats, but it was not significantly greater to the point that Hollow Soldier Shield was pretty much the best shield choice in the game besides something specific. Now that medium shields have been cut down a tremendous amount, great shields are far more viable. I can't give up parrying, so I still stick with mediums, but great shields, really viable now. You can't parry with them though, so I need my parries. They keep me interested in the game a little longer, help me play longer, and help me cheer and scream at my TV when I parry somebody or something. This thing's fun. It can't attack you from behind. If you come at the front, it can bite you and instant kill you and stuff like that. So either kill it from range or come behind it like I'm showing you how to do here. And this is how you get the Pyromancy, the Power Within. Generally useless, but lets you buff your damage to insane amounts, which has its uses. I guess it's not useless, it's just generally useless. It's not a general purpose spell. For those of you that are wondering about the shields, now the highest stability medium shield is the Silver Knight shield, and I think it's probably the best choice for medium shield. The other great contender would be the Black Knight shield. Black Knight shield has a little less stability and weighs a little more, but pretty much makes you immune to fire, and being immune to fire is that can't be underestimated. That's fantastic. We're nearing the point in BlightTown where we're actually almost in the swamp that's the entire like wooden superstructure is built over, so I'm really glad to be getting it. You know, if you're watching this as you play along, you should start to feel relaxed because it's the bad news is it's a much more frustrating area. The good news is you're far less likely to insta-die. This is not a video walkthrough, by the way. This is a commentary as I do it, so you can take whatever route you like. And sometimes I probably don't take the optimal path for a new player, and I apologize for that. I just didn't commentate this under the hopes of being a perfect walkthrough. Okay, these guys are really easy. They look ugly as hell, but they're really easy. The giant cockroach guys. Here's how they work. If you charge right at them, they won't make an attack. You'll have time to start swinging. Everything they do close range you can block. You can pretty much dispose of them any way you like. Just understand they can deal a ton of damage. Their Fire Breath, which they cast, has a little bit of range, hits in a small arc in front of them, and does boatloads of damage. So you don't really want to get hit by that. Also, this is not, sorry to digress again, this is not a walkthrough to get you through this as quickly as possible. This is a walkthrough to show you all the different places in BlightTown and where all the items are. I really think I've hit 100% of the items down here, and if I've missed anything, I guarantee you they're nothing you really should even bother getting. So there's the Wanderer's armor set. I started with it. If you didn't start with it, it's actually a really great light armor. Gets great stats upgraded. The Wanderer's hood is one of the best helmets in the game in terms of stats per weight. Light armor in this game is great, upgraded, unless you need poise. Like, I don't need poise, I have a heavy weapon. Poise is what the stat on your armor that helps you from getting like recoil when you get hit. It's all over the place with this commentary. Every Dark Souls thing ever. Every tip ever. But really though, poise is great if you have heavy weapons. Don't underestimate it. Definitely research poise if you're trying to choose like your optimal weapon. I see a lot of posts on optimal armor rather. I see a lot of posts on message boards. What's my best armor choice? Well, look them up, but poise, if you have heavy weapons, poise is great. If you don't have heavy weapons, probably don't need it. Like if you're attacking with daggers and short swords, I think speed will serve you better. You should definitely equip the strongest statted armor you can find for your equip weight. It's impossible for me to give advice on that because your equip weight's going to change on your intended final weapon and things like that. But if you're using a light weapon, then you want to be below the 1/4 mark, I think, for two reasons. One, to fit character theme, and two, because it's really helpful. Alright, and so finish up the patch notes discussion. Now, the best medium shields, in my opinion, are Silver or Black Knight, and the best great shield, if you don't want to put a ton of strength, is the Eagle shield, because it has a ton of stability, more than the Silver Knight fully upgraded if you fully upgrade the Eagle. Time to get off the shields and try to talk a little bit more about this. This is how you're going to find every single item in the swamp. And the swamp, if you don't know, that is a poison gauge. It fills, and if it fills, you get toxic. You do not want to be toxic. The first thing you want to do when you get down here is reach the Bonfire. The Bonfire is straight up from where you reach the bottom of this little hill. It's straight and to the right. Just follow the wall and you'll hit it. The reason I'm not going there first is because I want to start going for the items, because I know I'll be okay. I know I could get to the Bonfire without dying, because I've just been here a lot. So forgive me for not taking you straight to the optimal place to go. I just didn't do that. I apologize. That's an oversight on my part. But I think a full video walkthrough unedited, while lengthy and tiring to watch, is the most complete walkthrough I can give you for BlightTown, is to show you everything ever. And you can of course pull up maps and stuff like that on wikis and stuff. This is just for me to talk to you guys, maybe entertain you guys a little bit, throw a little information at you while you watch about BlightTown. Who knows, maybe you can play this while you're at work or something. I don't know. But I'm going to get off trying to justify my own commentary because I enjoy doing it. I'm just going to get to the next part. In the swamp, you fill with poison. The higher your poison resist, the slower that gauge fills. Furthermore, while you're in the swamp, if you get toxic, the higher your poison resist, the less damage you take from the poisonous swamp. Like once that status bar fills. So that's pretty clear how that's going to work. Not sure what I'm doing here. I'm probably trying to find a specific thing in my inventory, but I'm not sure what. I did this a little earlier. Oh, I'm putting a bow on. I don't know why. Probably to shoot the bugs. These bugs that you see, the little mosquito suckers, they add a little bit of poison damage with their spit, and the big problem with them is they come indefinitely. You can never get rid of them completely. They're always going to respawn. So the best way to deal with them is to get a weapon that attacks in a big arc, or to just use a bow and blast them, or use magic if you have it, and like soul arrow them. You get the idea. Something that directly targets. Now here's the trick. Once they get really close to you, your ranged stuff tends to miss because the lock-on system just gets screwed up. If they're far away, the ranged stuff is probably the only thing that will hit them. I fortunately have a weapon, this Wander here, like I said, and I'm advantaged in that it is incredibly awesome because the swing is long and down. That's perfect. Up and down hits almost any enemy, hits enemies on the ground because it slams the ground. You're not going to miss if you lock on correctly, and it has a huge sword length. Now that's what you want in a big weapon. Now I'm going away from the boss and away from the bonfire right now. Going this direction is opposite of where you want to go to progress through BlightTown. This is just for items and to reach the Great Hollow, which is probably the most secret area in the game. Not that it's a huge secret, it's like a public secret. It's a well-hidden area, but most people only find it through walkthroughs. And that's not to say that people haven't found it naturally, but it's tough. It's really well hidden, and there's things down there that you don't want to miss. Now this walkthrough is not going to cover the Great Hollow or any of the connecting areas to BlightTown. It's just going to show you how to reach them, and I'll leave it at that. You guys can explore them on your own, and I may do a walkthrough for them later. I don't tend to do like a Let's Play of all of Dark Souls. Not my thing. I don't like doing full Let's Plays. I like doing sort of segmented, specific things that I want to talk about. And the reason I did BlightTown was so many people struggle with it and hate it. And I don't struggle with it, but I hate it. The struggle is just motivating myself to go there. I tend to go to every other area. I'm pinned in the corner by this little leech thing. The leeches are a great thing to kill. They drop a lot of upgrade materials for your weapons. So the trick with them is you can block everything they do, and you can bait attacks because everything they do actually has a wind up to it until they get really close and they can just straight bite you with their little sucker. Everything they want to hit you with has a really long wind up. See large tantanite shards. That's how you upgrade your weapons past +5. That's how I got my Zawander to +10. Not sure what I'm equipping. Oh, I'm going to equip, see, blooming purple moss clump. I'm going to equip that so that I can cure poison if something goes wrong. Because, I really know BlightTown really well. I get turned around sometimes because it all looks the same and my frame rate drops and I get confuzzled. But at the end of the day, this is still a really safe bet on, how to get through BlightTown. And for those of you, I'm 33 minutes in out of a 60-minute video, so we're about halfway through. I still have plenty of things I want to talk about, so looks like I won't have to do too many multiple takes. I don't think I'm going to edit anything out unless the video just crashes. So going ahead this way, I'm getting really close to the Great Hollow and the items. I'm checking every corner. Some of these I know there's not items there, but I think with a place like BlightTown, for completionists, catching every or nearly every item is really important. So I want to make sure I haven't missed anything in the past, and I'm also doing it just so I can sort of reassure you guys I've checked everything. It's not like I'm just missing a lot of hidden items. I've been through here. If I'm missing anything, it's going to be like a small soldier's soul or something like that. Something you're better off just not worrying about. And I don't like this spot here. It's really easy to get poisoned and get into a bad fight. That item there seems like it should be like some sort of really rare item, but instead all it really is a large tantanite shard, which is pretty common, really. Really nice at this point in the game, though. It lets you get some upgrades in. I'll also be putting a companion part to this video where I finish off Qui Log and get the boss of this area. Not a flawless on her, but pretty good run on her, so plenty for you guys to see. Plenty. Looking forward to sharing it with everybody. Oh, in this video, I'll also show you the invasion down here. There's an invasion you don't want to miss down here, so at some point you're going to want to have a humanity in your inventory stocked and ready to go, or a crackable humanity, a hard humanity that you can use to change human, because there's an invasion that happens down here. Just like Kirk in the Depths, this will be an invasion in BlightTown. Man-eater Mildred, and most of you probably heard of her or fought her already, but she's in this video, and I try to kill her classy, so you should enjoy it. and the items he drops is too cool to miss. So make sure you don't. I've started characters over because I'm an idiot and I'm not in human form and I miss an invasion. Normally, after you kill the area of a boss or progress too far, they won't spawn in. It's really frustrating. The only 3 attacks I know these little leeches have is they can do a quick bite, a jumping bite, and they can breathe that black, I believe, is dirt at you. Really easy to deal with. Multiples can be kind of scary, like any enemy in this game, but pull them in small numbers, and these things should be the last thing that kills you. The thing that's going to kill you down here are the mosquitoes, because they're going to pile up on you when you least expect it. The swamp, because you're going to get poisoned in a position where you can't get back to the bonfire. At this point, you've never even seen the bonfire, because I'm an idiot. I didn't go there first, because I assumed everybody didn't need to go there. The server, that's a cool item. It's R2 attack, it's heart attack. It actually, right trigger, I guess, on Xbox. It actually gets around shields. Ooh, almost poisoned myself there. It actually, like, the attack will actually bend around a shield, basically. It's really neat. Not very practical for single player, but cool for player versus player if that's your thing. While we wait for the poison to dissipate, I'm going to let you guys kind of eyeball my stats and what I'm wearing. My ring is, of course, the poison bite ring. Oh, crap! I forgot to tell you guys about the most important part of BlightTown ever. It's even more important than bringing the right armor. You need to get the rusted iron ring. If you don't, you'll run slow in the swamp. Like, you'll have a move speed penalty like you're in thick water. You don't want that. It takes forever to get through the swamp. Forever! But not only does it take you forever, it's super dangerous because you get stuck in poison all the time. Get it, it's a really easy item to get. You have to return to the Undead Asylum, the starting area of the game. There's a way to get back there. You don't even have to fight the boss of the Undead Asylum when you go back, because there'll be a boss there. You don't have to fight the boss at all. You can just go there, get the ring, and leave. There's a lot of videos on how to get to the Asylum again. I'll give you a quick description in case you don't know. After you come down from the Undead Parish, you take the shortcut elevator down. From that elevator, you can roll off it onto a cliff above the starting area. From that cliff, you can basically scale all the way up a little like wooden, I guess, tower, maybe? Yeah, it's like a tower. It's like a hill with stones and steps. And you can get to the crow nest, and the crow that originally carried you from the Undead Asylum will carry you back if you lay down in its nest for a little bit. I know that was like a really quick synopsis, but there's tons of videos of it online. It's one of those questions that everyone put a video up on how to do, so I don't feel the need. There's one of my good friends, Mr. McDermott. He's a friend of mine. This giant tree is actually how you get to the Great Hollow. Now, the Great Hollow is basically the enormous tree that's in BlightTown. You actually can go inside the trunk. It's hollow. And go all the way down to the bottom, which takes you to a really cool area with really valuable stuff. I'm not going to go there in this video. It's a really dangerous place. There's a lot of fatal drops in there. Not only is there fatal drops, it's just a really inconvenient place to go. While very cool, it's very unfun to traverse, in my opinion. So I'm not going to do it in this video, but I'm going to show you how to get there. And I think this is one of the most well-hidden areas ever. Because you come in here and you get the shield, and there's an illusionary wall you bust down. You come through and there's a treasure chest. Let's see what's in it. Ooh, Twin Humanity. That's actually a really useful item. Then behind the treasure chest is the freaking tunnel that leads to the Great Hollow. And that's not nice to make someone work to hide something so well. But most people have strategy guides on the internet these days, so I guess they have to put a lot of effort into hiding it to make it worth their time hiding. Also, if you have been upgrading your Pyromancy's Flame, Quilina will appear down here. I'll meet her in one of the videos towards the end of the video. She can upgrade she can ascend basically your Pyromancy's Flame to something even greater than plus 15. It's like plus 15. Oh god, that was bad playing. Used to small swords where you can sneak quick attacks in. With great swords, you have to block and you get them to bounce off and come back. Ramble about weapons again. You saw I dealt with it. These dogs that are already dead, I always thought that was interesting. Going to get this really inconveniently placed item. Like everything in BlightTown, it's just completely inconvenient to deal with. Smash! Oh, bam! Evan smash! Evan angry! Sorry, I am not the Hulk. I'm not a ripped guy, just throwing that out there. However you picture me in your mind, just know two things. It's better than you expect and less than you hope. Which translates to, I'm not a fatty, but I'm not thin. I'd say I'm just 10 pounds under chubby. How's that? A healthy soft. Wow, that's probably a TMI for those of you watching up to this point. But if you've listened to me monologue to you for 40 minutes, I'm going to consider us associates either way. So you just have to put up with me getting awkward as I get more bored with myself. I'm also going to pause the commentary briefly to do another project save, because this is such a long commentary. Alright guys, thanks for watching this far, and I'll be back in 5 seconds. And we're back. I should have got a Sprite in that little break, but I didn't. And we're already back at it, and I'm 40 minutes out of 60 in. I apologize, this is not the quickest or most direct route through BlightTown. I get a little lost myself because it all looks the same and it's dark. And I got tired of being here, but I still got through it, and I'm still going to show you guys every drop. For those of you that are warping ahead in the video to try to see the boss fight, that'll be at the very end, probably in part 2, because this is already going to be a 1-hour upload, which is going to be pretty nutty, if I do say so myself. So, you know, bear with me here, guys. Bear with me. Not only... I'll probably put the boss fight in part 2 of BlightTown into a separate video, just... So if you guys are looking for the boss fight, just go to part 2. I've talked a little bit about weapon choice. I've talked about the patch notes a little bit. Oh, the patch notes, they also made the drop rates on a lot of items a lot easier. Oh, and here's, through this little tunnel here, this is where you hit the bonfire I should have showed you guys at the start. If you're new to BlightTown, in fact, just hit make this the first thing you do, is just come to this little tunnel and hit this. I didn't, because I'm not smart. Total brain fart. It all worked out, but just a little quick FYI. I'm going to repair all my crap. Something you should do every time you come to the bonfire is repair all your crap. Now I'm going to stats up my stuff here. Statting up endurance so I can hopefully run with my enormous heavy sword, or roll properly. If I had Havel's Ring on, I could, but I don't want to build my character around Havel's Ring, because I'm hoping to make this a non-Havel's Ring character, maybe a Darkwood Grain Ring build. So Havel's Ring's like a temporary fix, and you can consult my video defeating Havel for getting Havel's Wing. It just doubles your equip burden, I think. It adds a tremendous amount to it either way. So fantastic ring, and you can make character builds centered around it, which is always a nice thing to have, but I try really hard to not do that. So when you're trying to get getting back to BlightTown, you're trying to get all the things in the swamp, the easiest way to do it is just make a complete circle around the outer walls, because there's not crap in the middle, like 2 or 3 items in the middle that you'll see with your eyes just by going around the outside. Alright, once you pass the bonfire, you're going to get invaded by Man-Eater Mildred. She is a computer-controlled phantom, and she is fun to fight. Just want to demonstrate the bonfire no longer works. When she invades, don't fight her in the swamp, rusted iron ring or not. Step back into here. The more dangerous thing is once again the bugs, because if they stun you, that weapon she has is the meat cleaver from Demon Souls. Most of you will recognize it if you're a Demon Souls veteran. Kind of hurts, not too bad. She's actually really easy. I'm kind of glad, because she has a plank shield. Like, she's just not a big deal. You can kill her however you want. I'm not going to give tips on killing her. If you have trouble with her, then I don't know if I can help you, because she really is that bad. I'm going to parry her just to be cool. BAM! Parry's so fun. She's still alive, so I'm just going to smash her for 460 with my two-handed overhead swing. You have to be in human form to get her to invade, remember, so it's really important that you catch her now, because once you kill the boss, she's not coming back. So get your 3 humanity and your butcher knife now, and don't miss the dragon scale that I showed you earlier that was behind the bonfire. That's how you upgrade your Drake's sword, which everyone should have gotten if it was their first time through, because it's such a nifty item. Now I've respawned all the enemies because I've hit the bonfire, but small price to pay for the safety of being able to respawn there and to homeward back there. When you're going through BlightTown, divide the area into the area behind where you entered BlightTown and the area in front of where you entered. So once you come down that ramp, the area to the back is the Great Hollow and all the item drops I showed you. The area to the front is where the boss is and all the other odds ends in BlightTown. The area is large, it is confusing. I found it confusing, I know a lot of other people do as well. That's even why on my own walkthrough video I get a little turned around here and there. But thankfully I've done this enough that I always know the roundabouts where I'm going. Right now I'm just killing these things because I hate them. And these things, to my knowledge, do not have a drop. I've never seen them drop anything. I don't think they can drop anything. You can, if you're in a really bad spot, which I got into one, I ran out of flasks and I had like no life to rush back to the bonfire. You can actually equip the Ring of the Evil Eye and kill them from a safe distance if you're good at it, which you will probably get good at it. Kill them from a safe distance, and when you wear that ring you get health by killing enemies, very small amounts, so you can slowly farm yourself up to full health. It's not an ideal situation. I understand it's not an ideal strategy, but sometimes you just gotta make do. That's a Judge Joe Brown reference for those of you that watch court shows and stuff like that. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Judge Judy, who my dad personally met, is apparently a really nice lady outside the courtroom. And I got poisoned, and I don't feel like blowing a moss. I mean, I should have because I have a bunch, but I can just homeward back to the bonfire. Being only 3 steps from the bonfire, there's no reason really just not to homeward back. This is in general a good solution whenever you get poisoned, toxic. Either pop the healing item immediately or homeward out. Homeward in general is probably the most useful magic spell in the game. I can't imagine playing without it anymore. In fact, when I make new characters and I don't have enough faith or I don't have the spell unlocked yet, it just drives me nuts. It's like the first thing I go about getting. Unless I'm making a PvP character, because you got to be really strict with that level 125-ish level restriction limit on where the community stays. A quick touch on that, for those of you who aren't familiar with how that works, there's a matchmaking system that only puts you with players of a similar soul level. I think it's like 10 or 15 levels in common. So like if you farm up to like soul level 400, unless you're in a very specific area of the game where you find other players of that level, it's not going to work. Like, you're not going to find anybody to invade. You're just going to get failed invasion for days. So much better to stay around 120, because that's for the people that are looking for organized PvP. Those are the levels they stay at, is 120. Those are where you find people that are mannerly and don't spam you necessarily with the Wrath of Gods or spam you with Tranquil Walk of Peace, which got patched, by the way. For those of you that are familiar with Tranquil Walk of Peace, it got patched, so don't think it's the instant win PvP switch it used to be. Fog Ring got patched. You can now lock on to Fog Ring users. Thank God, because Fog Ring was the stupidest player versus player item ever. Just one of those oversights by software. It's like the Type 95 on Modern Warfare 3. Complete oversight, or the FM9s. Maybe not a bad developer, but clearly just a complete oversight that could have been fixed with testing or adequate preparation. But launch dates are strict, particularly in the Call of Duty series, and on this game, there's so much to balance that I know it took time, but this game has had a great patch. The patches have been really nice, so no complaints here. We're getting towards the end of BlightTown, actually. I'm 48 minutes in, so it's been a long commentary. My voice is tired. It's like 2:48 in the morning. I'd like to thank you guys for sticking with me up to this point. You know, it's been really cool. I've really enjoyed doing this. I'm sorry I couldn't bring this to you live. Sounds like I'm giving you guys the sign-off before the end of the video, so I'll jump back on it. Here's these guys again. Blocked it with my swords and have my shield out. It was better than taking it to the face, because it probably would have killed me. When they put the rock down and roll, it's just a completely open opportunity to walk behind him and swat him a little bit. The reason I fell back there was because, once again, I'm afraid of those bugs hit stunning me and him smashing me with the rock for an instant kill. Oh, looks like my video's glitching or something, so if you get frame rate issues, it might just be the rendering I'm watching while I commentate, but if I upload it and it's like that, I really apologize, because on my screen it's lagging terribly for this fight. If you swing too early, you won't hit them when they stand up. Are those dung pies they drop? Well, typically aren't that useful. You can actually sell items later in the game, believe it or not. Finally, they let you sell stuff. Soul items give you souls, and they sell for a decent number of souls, like 500 souls, which is like pretty good considering how little you do to get them. You wouldn't want to grind and farm them to level up, but it's not like a big deal. Back here is more items, of course. One thing I've done, I've dropped the ball here. I believe I've already found the Pyromancer set down here. That has the highest poison defense in the game, I believe, or at least it's the highest you're possibly going to have at this point in the game. So I really should have equipped it when I found it, but I didn't, and you know, I'm still doing fine because I'm over prepared. I have the poison bite ring. I've got everything I need. That's how you make this area tolerable, is you come prepared with everything you need. So remember, farm the highest poison resist armor you can find, and if you're a pyromancer, then you luck out and you already have the best set. Get the spider shield to block status effects, and finally get the poison bite ring, get the rusted iron ring, which is the most important thing to walk through the swamp. Bam. This little dirty, sandy, raised hill here, this is where you reach the boss. I'll clear out the guards here on my way through, but I won't fight the boss yet. I'll show you the rest of BlightTown, and I'll show you the shortcut out and in of the shortcut that leads out of BlightTown and the shortcut that leads into BlightTown. I'll talk more about that when we get there, though. These guys are more of the same. They're really only dangerous when you pull more than one. Then they get pretty scary, and block with my weapon again because I'm a fool. Smash him down, get some dung pies. For those who don't know, when you use those, they actually lure enemies near you, so not that exciting, but, you know, not useless. Sometimes you just need to pull some enemies away from some other enemies, and that's when they really shine. Normally they just wind up getting sold, though, for most players. Because most of the things you find will wind up getting sold, or they'll just clutter your inventory or your bottomless item box forever. Ramble, ramble, ramble. We're sort of actually reaching the end of BlightTown, and I'm tired of BlightTown. I'm tired of playing it and commentating it, so if you're watching through all this, you either really like the sound of my voice, or you just really don't like BlightTown. Either way, still glad you're watching. I can't wait to commentate the fight with Kui Long, or whatever the boss is called, because that's going to be way more exciting than this place. More bugs, these respawn forever. Oh, another thing I'll talk about that people probably don't know about Dark Souls. The humanity you get. Killing a certain number of enemies in an area will drop soft humanity. Like, instead of dropping the item that, you know, is a humanity that you crack or that you find, it just adds it right to the meter, which is cool. I think you can find up to 10 per area. Like, if you're in the Undead Parish, it can only happen 10 times, and it can only happen up to the point... Ah, crap, got poisoned. Bad playing. Then I'll just return to the bonfire and deal with that after I get away from these freaking bugs, because you can't homeward while you're getting attacked. This is what slowed down the commentary so much, is me screwing up. But I think that dragging the commentary out to show these should help you guys err on the side of caution. You can get through BlightTown with no deaths pretty much effortlessly. I mean, this took some effort because I took some risks, but if you take no risks, it is not a big deal to get through all of BlightTown painlessly. As long as you remember where you left, you can always run right back to where you were. This also gives me a chance to level up and stack my endurance. It costs so much to level up. Really, most characters actually stop around 115 to 120 their first time through the game. So I'm probably over-leveled for where I am a little bit. And I don't intentionally over-level, I just spend a lot of time in places other than BlightTown before I come to BlightTown, because I hate BlightTown, so I put it off. Okay, this is the water wheel. The water wheel actually leads up to some really valuable items, and it leads you to the escape from BlightTown, or the shortcut out of BlightTown, if you will. It is imperative when you're in BlightTown that you go up there, because when you need to come back here, it's getting to where you want to go so much more enjoyable, painless, because it drops you right down to the swamp. No more catwalks for days. I see an item over there. I think that's like the only item on this side. Also, one of these pillars, the pillars that stand up in front of the boss's domain door, the Kui Long's domain tunnel that I talked about earlier, where I fought all the 4 or 5 rock guys line up right up in front of me there. These pillars back here are actually where you find her. She is a Witch of Chaos, and she can upgrade stuff. She'll give you a free Pyromancy's Flame. If these guys attack you when you're talking to her, be really sure you don't hit her. A, there's a chance she'll kill you because her Pyromancies are really strong. B, it's important that you don't kill her because, you know, you want all these. Here's sort of an example of her inventory. I wish I had enough money to buy all these when I was here, but I unfortunately blew some points upgrading endurance, and until you get endurance to 40, you're always safe putting points into endurance. Literally, if you're trying to make like the perfect character build and you don't know what to level, just level endurance. As long as it's under 40, you can stack it for days and it's profit. At 40, you should stop unless you're doing something extremely specific, like you want to wear a full armor set and you need X endurance to equip it properly. I don't know. I can't envision a lot of circumstances where you'd want to stop where you want to go past 40, but I know this has a big fan following in certain circles, and like some people have really specific character builds that cater to specific things. I'm just kind of showing you that you can keep ascending your Pyromancy's Flame with her, stuff like that. She doesn't always appear there. You have to meet certain conditions for her to appear. The first condition is to kill the boss of this area, which will be at the end of this video, or to upgrade your Pyromancy's Flame to like plus 10, I believe. Plus 10, or to upgrade to a really high level, and that will also cause her to appear. So, nifty, nifty, nifty. We're about to go up the water wheel, which I was talking about earlier. The water wheel is, of course, the shortcut out of here, and I'll show you how to reach it and all that stuff. Of course, once again, I get myself poisoned. I think right here I just get mad at myself and I go ahead and pop a mushroom and finally heal it. Completely unnecessary. It would have been better to warp back to the bonfire, but sometimes convenience is worth the souls, because I was just tired of running back to the bonfire and warping out. I'm really excited. We're approaching the tail end of this part of the video. The next part's probably going to be like 15 minutes in the boss fight, because well, things get really interesting up ahead that force me to break the video into 2 parts. And I'm looking forward for you guys sharing that moment, because I was jumping up and down, yelling at my TV because I was a dork, and it was a really satisfying moment for me. So you'll scale up these ladders. If you're going up the ladders, if you're ever going up, you're going away. That's a good navigation trick with BlightTown if you easily get lost like me. If you're going up, you're going away from the boss. If you're going down, you're going towards the boss. So whenever you're going up, you're either going towards the shortcut out or towards the original exit out. And I'm 100% everyone will be able to tell the difference, because one involves going up a giant water wheel. I forgot to show you, but when you get to these water wheels, you should check them out. There's actually an animal that's, or at least one of those like little fire dog things that's actually inside the water wheel, like running it like a hamster wheel. It's pretty sweet. It's funny. There's a bunch. Now this area up here we're about to reach is like hell on earth. It is a terrible area. There's 5 or 6 blowed out archers guarding a Firekeeper Soul. You don't want to miss Firekeeper Souls. They upgrade your Estus Flask, or you can consume them for a boatload of humanity, which pretty much means once you fully upgrade your flask, then you'll pop those for a boatload of humanity. So don't miss them. Really bad thing to miss. And finally feel my voice getting scratchy and sore. Monologuing for an hour. It's funny, I struggle when I do like presentations to talk for 10 or 15 minutes about my topic, but in these commentaries I can just kind of go. I guess it's a good feeling when the difference between when it's an assignment and when you get to choose to do it. Did you guys ever notice that with school? This treasure chest here is the key to the New Londo Ruins. The New Londo Ruins are right off from the first Firelink Shrine, from the area where you started the game after the Asylum. Basically, you go across that bridge, you'll go through a green lit tunnel with a couple of those enormous ogre guys guarding it with the giant clubs. Fight them out, go through. On the other side, you'll be in the Valley of the Drakes. The Valley of the Drakes is a really small area, which is, of course, a valley that connects 3 of the major areas of the game. It's like the junction. With that key, you can actually go across a little minor wooden bridge, take an elevator right up to the first Firelink Shrine. Really great, particularly if you need a breather and you're kind of sick of BlightTown and you just don't want to go any further, because you can come back the way you came and you can start actually at the water wheel instead of going down those long walkways. Alright, this is the hell area. There's like a ton of archers, and all I can really say here is be very, very careful. And I get toxic here because I screwed up. And it's just about to get worse. This is just where I really screw up my run. Do not do this remotely like I did it. See, here I'm trying to heal, and I'm panic healing. Never panic heal, because it will probably get you killed. Now I drop down to here. This area down here has tons of those fire dogs. Managed to pop a ton of flask, panic mashing flask. For those that don't know, when you hold up to your lips, you can mash it multiple times to heal faster. Managed to hotkey off that. Now I should have homewarded out of here. I have the miracle homeward. There's actually nothing else over here in this area besides the Firekeeper Soul. So if you get the Firekeeper Soul and you have homeward or a homeward bone you're willing to pop it and get out. I'm an idiot, and I decided I wanted to show you guys everything up here and show that I could handle this, and this is what happens. These things, like I said, they're really fast, they're really dangerous, and I swung right over them because I'm not doing the overhead smash like I should. I over smash him out of the way, trying to kill this little dog. Finally kill him. Out of flask. Once again, I'm out of flask. I should homeward out. But what do? I push onward because once again, I'm not smart and I'm a bad risk and I don't pay my bills on time. Now, Aqua Teen Hunger Force reference. Now I'm screwed up because I've got those little bugs locking onto me. They're chasing me around. It's like, oh my god, go away. Alright, so after almost dying repeatedly, I think I finally make the decision to homeward out right here. Oh, no I don't. I am an idiot. Instead, I walk forward in all my genius to try to pull this guy. And of course, I get attacked from behind by the bugs. Like I said I would. I get rushed by 4 fire-breathing dogs that are all hiding in the corners. 2 bugs. I am screwed. So what do? Time I finally homeward out. Look at that homeward, guys. Blood red, totally out of life. The spell triggers right when I get hit. The game forgives me. Dark Souls typically punishes people for every mistake ever. This time the game forgives me. I think it's taking so long to load because it's just confused. It thinks I'm dead. It gives me the benefit of the doubt. I get to repair my items. And I get to go right back to the water wheel in part 2 and show you the rest of that little area. Thanks, guys. I really enjoyed sharing that moment with you. See you in the next part. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. What's going on, guys? We're back. I decided that rather than split this video into 2 parts like a smart guy would, I would just put this right back on here and finish all the BlightTown with my cheesy accent. No, I'm not going to talk like that the whole way. I'm pretty sure I would get hate mail or I just get 50 unsubscribers in one day. Anyway, I'm just going back up to demonstrate a couple points I made earlier. Clearly I got a little overconfident, overextended myself there. Thought I could handle it, thought I was overgeared and overleveled, and almost got destroyed. Probably did deserve to die there. Would have lost to humanity. Would have lost my human form, which I popped the humanity to get, obviously. That's one of the most frustrating things about Dark Souls, in my opinion, is the fact that you lose, you become human form, and you can totally lose your human form just through avarice. So, really, really poor decision on my part. I feel kind of stupid about that, but I'm glad I made it into the video because I thought it was a really, for those of you that watch far enough to see it, I thought it was a really intense, kind of ballin' moment where I got to clutch it out. I almost got myself killed, then I clutched it out. And this is good because the rest of it will show you how to find some really valuable items still in BlightTown, and it'll show you a couple points. Those blow dart archer guys, when you hit a bonfire, they don't respawn. Once they're gone forever, which is a great feeling. So if you can nail a couple archers on your pass through here, yay, and you got to come back, at least you know it's going to be easier. So mashing behind the spider shield to stay safe, don't want to get toxic again. Arrow, 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 every arrow ever. Smash him. On this video I want to talk about quickly, you notice I homeward a lot to save time. This video is still really long. This isn't a long time to monologue. Yeah, I think it total time's what, 1 hour and 21 minutes with my 9-second intro. So this is a really long, really long commentary, and I wanted to save as much time as I could, especially with all the times I got lost or almost killed and stuff like that. So, there's nothing in this BlightTown that you can't backtrack over unless you started jumping off of things, which I said not to do because then you couldn't backtrack. So if you don't jump off a crap, you can backtrack, so you can never really get lost. I'm not going to go back down in the hole with the 900 fire dogs because it's really dangerous. My character build's kind of weak to them with this weapon. And I got a bow equipped instead of a pyromancy glove, which was stupid of me because I thought I was going to arrow those mosquitoes, but I never did. I never used the bow to pull enemies. That's the best part of the bow, is to shoot people to pull them away. Take the little shortcut there. Completely unnecessary. You can just use the ladder. This thing is the bane of my existence. Crossing this gets you items that are really valuable and worth having. Unfortunately, it's really tricky because if you fall off, you land on that second water wheel below you, and once you land on it, there's no way off it besides death or homeward bone, and using a homeward burn without getting rotated off is extremely difficult. So don't go down there. The trick with getting across the thing without dying is A, tap walk, hold your shield up to make your control more precise, and last but not least, when crossing this enormous branch from the Great Hollow tree, if you start pushing forward and your character starts to turn to the left or right, there's an invisible wall. It's actually not an invisible wall, but the game is very, very specific about how it wants you to path that. So if it looks like your character's struggling to get up it, he is, just stop. Here's how you get the Crimson Set and a Tin Banishment Catalyst. All useful items, all worth having. Here's where you find the Sorcery Remedy. Remedy cures any status ailment. Really good to have, always worthwhile, particularly in BlightTown for subsequent playthroughs on New Game Plus, or whenever you're just coming back to your period. Whatever, it's just a good thing to have. You usually don't carry it around with you unless you're expecting negative status effects, but it's just such a cool miracle to have, and one of the better spells from the intelligence tree for support, particularly after the patch and the Iron Flesh trick got patched. I'm not going to elaborate on it for those of you not familiar with it, because it doesn't really matter anymore, but you can cast Iron Flesh and basically become invincible. Now it's damn near worthless, which is over-nerfed, but it adds day in its sun, and we'll all remember it. I don't know the significance of this place. I know you can jump down to the platform down there, which is a great way to get down from this place. It can actually be really difficult to get back down the water wheel, because anything you drop off is death. So I usually just prefer, Homeward Bones are pretty common, and the Miracle Homeward is free. And if you haven't tell, I'm really trying to talk everyone who watches this into getting enough faith just for that miracle if they're PvE. If they're PvP, they don't really need to find all the items in BlightTown anyway. They can just run right through BlightTown real quick. Use the Master Key shortcuts. Which, once again, I'm not going to elaborate in this video, but those would be why I'm not particularly worried about them. I'm exploring this area just to see if there's any kind of jump I missed. I'm looking at that little ledge, I think it's designed to get me somewhere, and frankly, this is all fruitless. There's no good jumps up here. Nothing down here you need to jump off. Don't jump. Take ladders. Be smart. In fact, once you get the Remedy and the armor set, there's no good reason not to just homeward out. You have all the items on this side. To my knowledge, there's no secret path. Just homeward out, but I'm being a dip and exploring. That branch, I've tried to jump on it numerous times and I've always died. I feel like I should be able to, but I'm 99% sure it's just a fatal drop. I've never tried it with slow fall magic, or I've never actually tested it with a prism stone. Both of which are things you'd think I would have done, but I didn't. So, with that said, we're just going to have to move forward. Oh, one more thing, guys. I just listed this. Sorry for that little ambient noise in the background. That's my air conditioner. It was just way too hot to turn it off. I'm super sorry about that, but I'm not redoing this whole commentary or editing out that noise in the background. So once again, thanks for watching, and we're just going to have to deal with that. Sorry.